Hi everyone, I'm Jen Clinehens, founder of Choice Hacking, and this video is intended to give you an example of what a 20-minute customer experience audit will give you. Now, I just want to make it very clear, Paul and Water is not a client of Choice Hacking. They're not affiliated with us. I just randomly went about 10 or 15 pages in on Google, and this is the site that I randomly came up with. So let's get started. The first thing that I notice about this site actually is the banner here. So welcome to our store, your pet's hydration solution. I mean, we have a typo, first of all, so that's probably something that we want to fix. But secondly, I think this is a little bit of wasted space here. So we could be running a sale here. We could be saying, we'll give you 10% off to join our newsletter. I think there's much more important messages that could land up in this very valuable real estate. Because if you keep looking down the actual page, we don't really have anything that's actionable above the fold, right? I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do. I'm focused very much on what I'm honest kind of looks like a stock photo of a woman high-fiving a dog. This is real estate that should be telling a story. It should be creating an emotional connection with the user. I mean, just off the top of my head, you could have something like a woman with her dog next to the actual Paw and Water product. I'm not quite sure what it is, but it looks like it might be a water dispenser for pets. She could be next to her dog and she could be saying, "Hi, my name is Janet. This is my dog, Bilbo." And, Bilbo would only ever drink out of the toilet or out of the fresh sink water. And when I was gone, that meant that Bilbo wasn't drinking enough water and he developed kidney issues. And so I decided to create Paw and Water. Just some sort of little story or connection point to make it clear, like, why does this product exist and what is the benefit? Especially, what is the emotional benefit that I'm going to get from investing in this product? Now, the other thing you've probably noticed that I'm noticing now, let's see if it happens again in a second, is this little message that keeps coming up, sort of a bit of social proof. Someone added this product to their cart, water dispenser. Now, this has popped up quite a few times. And look, I'm not going to say anything specifically about Paw and Water because I don't know how their back end is working in this. But for a site that is way, way down in Google, I feel like someone has added this product to the cart has come up quite a bit. As a new user, making no assumptions about, whether this is true or not, it's a little suspicious. As you know, a new user, a new customer coming to a website, it's very important to establish like trust, authenticity, authority. These are things that I need to be able to, as a user, build and get very quickly from your site so that I can just trust you. I can trust you enough to hand over my credit card number and say, yes, I want to get this water dispenser for dogs. Now, I would say their instincts are right? Like you do want to add a little bit of social proof in the form of when someone's buying something or when someone's adding something to cart. It's nice to have those little notifications, but it's not good if it's not true or if it feels too inauthentic. Now, again, I don't know if this is actually happening or not. I have my thoughts and suspicions. We'll keep that out of the customer experience audit. The other thing I would add, though, is if you're going to do something like this, make sure you're either including like a name or a location, like a first name. There's GDPR and like data protection questions about that. But just saying someone added this product to their cart over and over seems a little suspicious. And I actually think even though they're trying to build trust with this, they're maybe doing the opposite and making me trust them a little bit less. Okay, so this is just the homepage. Let's scroll down and see a little bit more of what's going on with Paw and Water. Okay, so I finally have managed to get to a message, a headline here. And it says, "Never let your pet go thirsty again. Keep your furry friends hydrated with our water dispenser for dogs and cats." Initial reaction, I would say this headline is not really grabbing me emotionally. It's not very interesting. As a pet owner, I'm a little offended that they think I would make my pet go thirsty. Of all the things, I mean, you're going to have a bowl of water out for your dog or your cat. What they could be doing a little bit better here is focusing on what is the benefit here. Maybe it's the best way to get picky pets to drink more water. I mean, just something that's giving me a little bit of a benefit of the product. I'm a big proponent of testing. There's a lot of different ways you can nail this messaging, but I think there's some work to do around really nailing like what is the benefit here and trying to make an emotional connection with that benefit that's going to keep people scrolling and interested. Right now, this is just very basic stuff. So let's keep going. Okay, we've got some animations. Revolutionize pet care with paw and water. Do you love your pets and want to ensure their utmost comfort and well being? That's why the Paw and Water automatic dispenser is the perfect solution for you and your adorable furry friends. I'm not in love again with this headline, like revolutionize pet care with Paw and Water. Who's revolutionizing pet care? Have you revolutionized pet care? Because this is like a very common product I've seen around quite a bit. And that's fine. Like selling a product that other people are selling is not going to kill your company. I mean, it's something that a lot of companies are doing. But again, making the emotional connection and understanding like how am I as the pet owner going to feel better about how I'm treating my pets once I buy the Paw and Water. And it could be getting those picky pets to drink more water. It could be focusing on knowing that they're hydrated. One of the big challenges that a lot of dog and cat owners have is kidney problems. Like that's something they could be talking about. Because if, for example, I am a dog owner or a cat owner of a pet who has kidney problems because they don't drink enough, it's a very common issue. More and more common the more people give their dogs and pet or cats dry food. And I just know this because I'm a dog owner and I have been for a long time. It does become a real issue, these kidney issues, and getting them to drink more water can be challenging because, like you can see in this picture, a lot of pets prefer fresh running water. I don't know what in their evolution has made them do this, but that's why they'll drink out of the toilet and stuff. So that is an interesting sort of challenge they could be solving. It's a pain point they could be solving. It's a benefit that they could be communicating much better. And I don't necessarily feel like they're doing that here. So I'm just going to keep scrolling and see what else we've got. We will get to the product page in just one second. But I do want to talk a little bit about this. Subscribe to our emails. Be the first to know about new collections and exclusive offers. Again, I would question why subscribe to our emails is the headline here. They should be leading with the benefit of joining a newsletter, right? Why should I be giving up my valuable email address for nothing, right? Maybe this is where the 10% off, comes in. 10% off all of our products when you subscribe to the newsletter. Because let's be honest, like no one is going to join an e-commerce, pet fountain website newsletter if there isn't something in it for them. Let's just be completely frank. The reason that a lot of people on e-commerce sites join the newsletter or give you their email address is to get a 10%, 20%, 30% off coupon, right? They want to save a little bit of money and they know that that value exchange is one way to do it. Now, one thing I want to do before I move on to the actual product page, because we do have a little bit of time here, is a quick salience analysis. A salience analysis is going to tell us, using predictive AI with a high level of certainty, what things people are going to notice, be aware of, perceive, pay attention to. And that can be really, really important when we're designing a web page like this that needs to be conveying a certain amount of information that also needs to be directing information in a certain direction, right? You have call to action. Like, what am I trying to get people to do here? But let me just click this and give me one moment. As you can see from this Dragonfly analysis, a lot of stuff is kind of coming up as attracting our attention. Now, quickly, all you really need to know about this is that red is good and blue, green, yellow, less good. So red is where people are paying attention. Now, there's a fun little tool that I can use here that helps us understand where the probability of perception lies for each one of these elements. So probability of perception is just telling us what are the chances out of 100 that someone is going to notice this. And if you look, we have this big, giant, gorgeous photo, maybe not doing the right kind of work for us, but it is a big, beautiful photo. And that's going to get 100. There is no way that somebody's going to go to this website and not see this. The logo itself, it looks like it's getting a 28. And then we've got, some single digit probabilities that people are going to see what's going on here. Now, the question you need to ask yourself on a website like this, it's an e-commerce website. We're trying to direct action, right? We're trying to get them to look at a water dispenser, in this case, look at the product and put the product in their cart. But my next step in that situation, in that journey, would be here to click on water dispenser. But there's only a 6% chance I'm even going to see water dispenser. There are some things we can do to change this. We could make it red. We can make it yellow. We can make it bold. We can make it bigger. Use some of this wasted space here and put a really nice call to action button that's going to help me learn a little bit more about the product. Now, as we scan or scroll down, as you scroll down the website here, okay, amazing. This is doing a really good job. This headline, it's 100% probability that someone is going to notice it. We might have 100% of someone noticing it and paying attention to it, but is it doing a job for us? In this case, I would say probably not. And I actually would say, even though this is 100%, that's not what we want to be 100%. Because if you look down here, our call to action is only 50%. We want to flip those ratios. And the things that will change something like this without going too deeply into design are making the button bigger, making it higher contrast against its background. So if you have a black background, making the button yellow so that it's a high contrast. These are things that, like a designer will be able to do very quickly, but these are also things that we need to test. We need to use salience, attention, strategically. And in this case, that is not what's happening. This, first of all, needs to move. And then second of all, we need to flip the salience of the headline versus the call to action. And if I keep scrolling, okay, we've got some good, yes, like beautiful video or beautiful image that's showing the cat actually using our product, which is very nice. This could be considered something called haptic imagery. So haptic imagery is this principle that says when we see an image of someone interacting with a product or touching a product, so like if you see an iPad ad and it has someone's finger scrolling on the iPad, that is haptic imagery. And that actually will create an emotional bond. It uses something called the endowment effect to make us emotionally bond with it and therefore be more likely to buy it. It also increases the chances that we can visualize ourselves using it in our day-to-day. So something like this is actually a pretty good image. If I were to make it better, I would have it zoomed out just a little bit. Maybe the cat is drinking out of the water fountain and he's getting pet by its owner, right? Putting the human in this image and showing how they're like happy and smiling and, oh yeah, the cat is finally drinking this water and he doesn't want to drink his water unless I use this fountain. That haptic imagery and that emotional connection to the images that we're seeing on the website. So we have our revolutionized pet care with Paw and Water. Again, high salience, 75% probability of perception, but a little bit of wasted space. But look at this. The shop now button only has 12% probability of perception. We want the CTA to have like the biggest probability of perception. To be fair, in a layout like this, it's probably not going to get as much as an image would, but we definitely want it to get more than 14 or 12 because there's more stuff on the screen, and the more stuff we have to look at, the more our attention kind of can spread around and be diluted. So something to keep in mind, like putting only the most essential things on the actual site will help make the customer journey much more clear, much more simple. And as we know from behavioral science, people love clear, simple things. Let's keep scrolling. Subscribe to our emails. Again, that salience is pretty good, but it's wasted bit of salience because it's not telling us what to do. Okay, so now I'm going to go back into the website without the salience bit, and we're going to look at the product page. So let's click here on water dispenser. But we've got, an image of the water dispenser. Okay. Again, I would lead with something that's showing the benefits of the water dispenser or someone using the water dispenser, or even better, an image that has benefits like overlaid, but that is showing a pet actually using the product, rather than just kind of leading with this because it's not giving me enough information other than dark blue. Okay, great. We click here. Let's look at, all right, classic white. Let's see. We've got quantity, add to cart. I'm just going to flick quickly over to Dragonfly. That add to cart is only getting 16%, so it's not really performing for us. So this definitely has to change. The buy with GPay is getting a lot of attention. We click on more payment options. Ooh, not great, because that actually takes us out to what looks like a Stripe checkout. You want to keep people on this page as much as possible. And we've got a bit of social proof here. We've got some reviews. Now, we only have 5 reviews, which, let's be honest, is not a ton. Now, there's 2 kinds of social proof, right? So social proof being, us using social cues, lots of people doing something as a way to de-risk behavior. And this is a big risk. This is like 10 or 15 pages inside of Google. So trust and taking a risk is a big challenge for this site, for this company. And 5 reviews, let's be honest, is not really going to do it. So when you don't have a quantity, so you can't say like, oh, we've got 6,000 reviews on this product. You also then need So we would call that many others, quantity. You need something from similar others. So we need quotes. We need pictures of people using this with their pet. You could have someone saying, oh, my dog had kidney issues because she'd never drink water. Now she doesn't have kidney issues at all because of, paw and water. Amazing. I totally recommend 10 out of 10. Or you could even just have someone saying, like, I, I just love the feeling of knowing that my cat is always going to get the freshest water possible. And it won't, be this stale, stinky water that she just has to kind of pick at and doesn't really enjoy. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Put some quotes and you can kind of balance that until you get your reviews numbers to a place where it feels like, oh, okay, they've got 100 reviews, 200 reviews. It's something I can feel really confident in. And also, the customer at this point is really savvy about the number of reviews versus the quality of the stars. So in other words, if I have 5 stars and I have 5 reviews and they're all 5 stars, a lot of people start to think, well, that feels fake, right? Now, let's say you have 100 reviews and you have 4.8 stars. Well, that feels a lot more authentic because obviously, you have that many reviews, you're going to have a couple people who are like, oh, I didn't like the color, it didn't match my kitchen, 2 stars, these dumb kind of things. They're trying to use trust markers. I think they have the right instincts, but I think the actual use of those markers is not quite coming through. So product properties, missing, not great. Material plastic, complete automatic feeding. I would not be having this here. I would have product details in a drop down. In fact, let's see what else they've got down here before I make some comments. Actually, this is a better image. This should be the lead image. If we have maybe like a cat drinking out of it. Yeah, because it's telling me, all right, continuous effluent. I don't know what that means. Maybe we change that. Cyclic filtration. All right. And upgrade motor. Okay, so maybe the content itself isn't great, but the idea of this image is much better. So pet intelligence water dispenser, intelligent double filter. So we'll change a little bit of the copy on that. But here we go. So we've got some more kind of like features. We need to, again, make sure that these are things that, our spelling is correct, all of our syntax and things like that. But again, I think, it comes down to the advice that I gave when I first looked at this site, which is making sure it's an emotional connection. It's coming from a person. I don't really feel like there's a person behind Paw and Water. It feels like it could be 500 people. It could be one person, but there's no personal connection here. I don't feel that at all. So that is something that is really missing. I'm going to revisit this really quickly because we're kind of going over time here. This is a better place to have product benefits. You could have like 3 green check marks and you could say something like, encourages picky pets to drink more water, feel safe knowing that your pet always has the freshest water to drink. I mean, you see where I'm going with this. So it's something that's benefit led, it has emotional connection, and it also just gives me a reason to buy it. Like the reason to buy it isn't because it has, like, oh, I really want to find a pet filtration that has an activated carbon filter. That's nice, but it's not what I'm Googling. It's not what I'm looking for. Great. So, okay. So I'm just going to leave this as it is. We've reached about 20 minutes here. So that is a summary of all the challenges. Now, if you do decide to get this is me talking to you now, beyond the site. If you do decide to get a choice hacking customer experience audit, it's going to be a video, something like this. Obviously, I can't get through every single page of a website. I can't get through every single little detail, but it's going to give you a really good place to start and some things to think about. You can watch the video. You can refer back to it as many times as you want. Now, some people do ask me, what is the next step after a customer experience audit? Now, it could be a variety of things. We could do user research. I could go out and talk to some folks, bring you back some insights that are really practical, really tangible. Customer journey mapping. So we can go through that customer journey. We can say this persona is experiencing this. These are their emotional needs. These are some of the things that they're exhibiting in their behavior, some of their challenges, some opportunities to meet those challenges, help you get to know your customer much better. I often do a salience audit for clients as a next step. So salience was the tool that you saw me use. I can go through and say, these are some of the design changes I would make in order to make the right strategic things grab attention, to get rid of some of the things we don't really need. We can also do a messaging audit, or I can go through and do an entire deep dive on any touch point or any combination of touch points. A good example, something I've done for a lot of my clients recently, so mobile apps. Is this a sticky experience? Is this something that's interesting? Is it using behavioral science in a good way, an ethical way to keep people engaged and make that connection? not only through the emotional side of things, but through forming a habit by using our app, for example, email onboarding journeys, landing pages, even retail experiences. I've done a lot of work in digital retail. I think this is a great place for people to start. It's really cost effective, it's really quick. And the reason I do that is because honestly, it's really valuable and people really enjoy it. The findings will keep you busy for some time.